Good afternoon, good morning, good evening. I'm just going to show you how I make a pancake coil. So first up you need a space, don't you, obviously. You're going to need a tape measure, yeah, of course. You're going to need something to cut the wires with. I use the wire strippers, they've got the cutter in there, so you put the wire through there and cut it, but also good for stripping wires. Can't live without that. And of course you need some wire. So here I've got unboxing the wire, unboxing. I didn't realise I was going to do an unboxing video, but there you go. So it's the speaker wire. Try your best not to get it tangled up, but I'm just going to make one for you today. So I make my coils 3 meters long. So I'm going to put my tape measure. I've got a chair here, just out of view. I've got another chair. I'm going to go this way, just to hold the tape measure. Hold the tape measure under the leg of the chair, because I ain't got any friends, so there you go. Otherwise, someone could do this for me, couldn't they? Good. So I'm going to go just over 3 meters. So I can see 3 meters there on the floor. And, you know, nothing special about this, just put the wire under the chair as well. Lovely cutters, pull it out to 3 meters. And just over 3 meters, give yourself a little bit of space to connect the coils later. I don't really want to, but just over 3 meters will do, maybe about there. And once I've done one, the length I want it to be, yeah, I've got to choose what I want to do. I can do another one just by matching up the ends and pulling the wire through like that. And then you get the other length there too. You can do it much quicker once you've got the length you want. You don't need to keep measuring that on the floor, do you? So that's basically that. And then because I'm doing Bifiler and because I'm doing it properly, you will strip the wires, so you pull them apart a little bit carefully, because sometimes they do actually, if you do it wrong, the couple will come out, but normally it's okay. So just strip them apart, because the next part is we're going to make the coil. There you go. So I've got my 2 wires ready to be wound into my pancake in a bit. Okay, once you've measured your wires and cut your wires and split your wires if you're using this kind of wire, then we need to make the coil. Just double check it's okay. I'm in the spare room, and because this gets messy and I haven't really, I used to do it on cardboard boxes, but any surface, a nice flat surface that you're not going to mind getting messed up is the idea basically. We need some double-sided tape, something for the middle of the coil, which is going to be that ring magnet. I use the same for everyone. Some super glue, scissors for the tape, and something to pop a hole in the super glue when you open it. So let me see how I do it this one, shall we? Okay, first things first, get the tape on. Now what I do actually is, I don't want to use too much of anything. So what I will do is I will reuse the tape again and again and again. So if I'm having like making session, if I'm having a session, I will actually reuse the tape, because you can reuse the tape, it's not a problem. It stays sticky. This is some sticky tape. So I get 3 bits of tape on like that. And notice the tape, pardon me, oh, that's no good. Notice the tape is not, flat. It's not touching. I leave a gap between the two, so between the 3. So what will happen is I'll put down there, I'll make my coil, I'll pull this off, I'll glue my coil, when my coil's dried, I pull the coil off. But what I'll actually do is I'll pull one of these tapes off to remove the coil. The other two will stay there, and then what I will do is I'll stick another strip on there, and then I'll make another coil. So each time I make a coil after this initial setup, I'm only using one extra piece of tape. But it's, you know, it's pretty self-explanatory. There's not much to this. So I might add some music, eh? Make a montage. It's probably the hardest part, is trying to get the back of the tape off. This one's done already, isn't it? It's done. Also, you can keep that for later. You can use that to rub the super glue as well, because it's got a special coating on it, hasn't it? An anti-stick coating, which is useful with the glue. Oh, pardon me. So we get the back off the sticky tape. I used to make these in such weird ways. I did make a few without splitting the wires, but it's not really like Bifiler next to each other, it's Bifiler on top of each other, which I heard people remark and say that that's not the best way to do it. And I got good results from it. I wasn't having any problems with it, but you know, I've stepped up in the world now of coils, Bifiler coils, and this is how I make them. So magnet in the middle. My coils are 3 meters long. No reason really, just seems like an alright size. My wire is 0.75 millimeters. So just choose whichever wire you want. After we get them both out, get them both ready for myself. So I've got a red wire and a black wire. So what I do is I actually loop in a little bit of the wire into the center, because I'm lucky I've got this kind of shaped magnet. I put a little bit in the middle, stick it in the middle there, stick it down, and then begin just going around the magnet like that. Starting off with, it's a bit iffy because you're getting your fingers on the tape. Okay, get it round to there, and then introduce the second wire to the mix as well, and just start it off next to the first one. And it can get a bit tangly, but once you've started going, it gets easier. So then you just grab the first wire again, and you keep going, and you're pushing, you're kind of pushing in as well, at the same time as pushing down, but you don't need to push down much, because it's, this tape at least anyway, is sticky, so it's good tape. So as you get round to the end, you just pick up the next wire and continue going round, and just making sure that all your parts are flat, nice and flat and down. Next wire. So every time you come round, you just pick up the next wire. And as you can see, I'm kind of going backwards a little bit with where I'm changing them, but it's not a problem. It's not a problem. Yeah, just pick it up, and you see it gets easier as you go, because you're no longer having to touch the tape so much. Just at the beginning, your fingers are getting a little bit taped. No problem. Still wonderful weather here in China. I'm living in Wuhan. I lived here from 2013. I moved here in 2013 just because, I don't know, I was 25 and I was interested in the world and decided to move to Wuhan, China. And I lived here, worked, got married, had my child in 2019. Ready to live the rest of my life. We actually planned to go back to my hometown when my child was about 2 or 3 years old, but of course 2019 everyone's plans ended and we got evacuated back to the UK. Free flight back to the UK though, bonus, huh? I was one of the first to get evacuated. We got our free flight back to the UK, which was nice, and we've had to stay in quarantine for 2 weeks because that was just where it was starting. You see, we were the first people to get, some of the first people from the West to, what was the word, have to follow the propaganda. In some ways I feel a bit guilty because I did go along with it and I was one of the first and I did go along with it, so I feel a bit guilty about that. But anyway, got a free ticket back home, blah blah blah, everything's back to normal, and we come back just in this September, and we're going to stay for, we're just staying for 6 months, so we plan to go back to where I come from in January, February next year. So actually living in Wuhan is wonderful. I mean, you get the quality, you get the you get the post very quickly, and the weather's fine. I mean, you're not really any pollution, really. Not really. My daughter is 4 years old. She goes to school, kindergarten. She loves it, and it's a nice place to live. I wouldn't knock it to anybody. It's a wonderful place to live. Chinese people, good people. Honestly, not a problem, and everything's cheap as chips. You don't have to pay any money for anything. It's clean, there's no crime. It's a very nice place. Anyway, so there you go. See how fast I did that? Beautiful. Put my dot through the super glue. Okay. Good. Put my lid on the super glue. And then I'm going to remove the magnet from the middle because you don't want to glue your magnet in place there. You don't want to glue whatever you have in the middle. Put the wires back down again just to keep them out of the way so they don't get glued in the wrong places. If you want to change where these wires are finishing or coming in, you can, afterwards you can do it. But basically now, how I glue it and how I feel like the best way to glue it is to go from the start, just push out a little bit, so you don't want to split it out. But once you find the glue flowing, run round the innermost connection wire a little bit, but you don't want to spill any out onto whatever surface you're working on. That's why I'm working on the underside of a bed, because if I do spill any out, it's not going to be a problem because my landlord's not going to notice a bit of wood pulled off the bottom of the bed. Okay, and also around the outside rim, the most outside part, just to guarantee that you're not going to come undone. Around the outside part, and over here where it begins as well. You don't want to have that come undone. Going a bit blind now. Just seeing black and red. Just seeing black and red stripes. Hard to figure out what's going on. But basically, once you've done that, and obviously you take time. Once you've done the inside part and the outside part, then I zigzag it like this. Around. Zigzag it around. And this glue that I'm using, I can do 1 coil, 1 glue basically. Might be able to get away with 1.5 coils. 1 bit of glue. Cool. So I split it a bit there. It splurted a bit out there, but so you're just zigzagging. Having a good sniff. Don't do drag skids. And there you go. I would say that's about as good. Might just double check the outside rims are okay, and glue back on the glue and leave that to dry. Once it dries, I'll come back and I'll show you the next step. Just come back to check if it's dried, and I made that big splodge there before, and I'm not 100% sure. I try my best not to get gluey fingers, but it's alright. But I can use the other side of the double-sided tape. Just give it a bit of a massage around. Most of it's dry, but I just give it a little massage just to spread it out a little bit more, help it dry a little bit faster. That puddle needs to dry, and there you go, no problem. I'll give it another couple of minutes and we'll come back and sort it out. Good, I'm going to call that cooked. So just touch test it. Yeah, not so bad. Good. So like I said, what I do is I peel one of the tapes off. That's why they're not touching each other. And hopefully it doesn't fall apart too much. Okay. And you can see underneath my peel that tape out from underneath. Now you've got it up, you can hold it together and pull it up and watch where it connects so you don't come undone too much. There you go, good. And then once it's done, you've got to be wary about putting it flat down again because you can stick it. You might end up sticking it to the bed. But obviously the back side of it has no glue on it yet. So what I normally do is I actually will put a weight on it on the inside, maybe just that'll do for now, and just with the last bit of glue in the tube, oh pardon me, didn't hold it off, with the last bit of glue in the tube, just give it a quick squirt. Not too worried about this side because the other side's done, so just to give it a quick once over, maybe a bit of a massage this bit in just to get it nicely spread. And that's it basically done for me. That is how I will make my coils. I still have 2 bits of tape sticky there, so I can just layer down another one, put the ring in the middle and start again. I put the next bit of tape on this side so then I can peel this end off, so then I always got like a fresh piece of tape as well. That's basically it. After that you're just gonna do what you want to do with them. Wi-Fi power transmission or some kind of resonating, or just hang them on the wall. Nice bit of, what's it called, steampunk art, eh? You have a good one. See you next time. Thank you very much.